Hi, I guess we've come back, and it's now time for the next case in conspiracy. This is case number 20, and it is No Mercy for Old Men.
The second night in a row you talked about Josh Glenn Harlow. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow again. What's your next contract? You kind of just want to...
Matthew, what a nice... Matthew, what a nice surprise to see you. I always go through Landmark Park on my way to work. It's unfortunate that the earthquake ruined the scenery a bit. But speaking of the earthquake, I heard about Zerda. The earth cracked open and revealed an entire city, hidden under Grimsboro for hundreds of years. We live in interesting times. Jones also briefed me about that cult, the Higher Truth, and how they've been donating money to Dream Life. I know they claim Dream Life Satellite is a messenger of the Higher Truth, whatever that is. It all sounds very dodgy if you ask me. Well, Matthew, even more reason to get to work. I know a shortcut that'll take us through the park. Let's go. Ooh.
Enterprise and city we connect as the foundation to our digital economy. Join us as we turn the promise of technology into digital progress. Together, Spectrum Enterprise.
When I met Ace, he lived in Honda.
It was very tight, and Colt being special needs, he does need a lot of space to be able to grow.
I inquired with the Hawaii State Federal Credit Union about their first-time home buyer program.
I never thought I'd actually be able to find that type of space for Colt. It's one of the biggest needs.
It's so great for him, and we've seen so much improvement because of it.
To get my dream home, it was all possible because of Hawaii State Federal Credit Union.
He doesn't look familiar.
We are Emergency Medical Services.
We are there for your emergencies.
Around 20 EMS units responded to more than 86,000 of your emergencies.
There we go, 4 seconds.
We are there for your emergencies.
Okay, I got the first star.
Every Sunday morning here in Hawaii and across the world to brighten your weekend with faith, song, and worship the Kingdom of God through city. We're sharing our music and song with the church band and the choir, all in a spirit service.
Matthew, this man is dead. Shot in the chest multiple times. He looks like he was in his 80s. Who would do such a thing to an old man? I'm not sure if it's important, but he seems to be missing his upper teeth. Matthew, do we have any way to identify this man? Oh, good eye, Matthew. This medical ID bracelet must have been his. I'd say murder qualifies as an emergency. Let's recover the name of his emergency contact. And those must be the shells from the bullets he was shot with. We should get a sample of that purple substance on them. Matthew, is someone walking the streets ready to senselessly murder old people sitting on benches? We've got work to do.
Expected on town shore, south shore, so heads up there. 47 for east, relatively far north, and 35 for west. We are tracking potentially even bigger swell that'll move in late Sunday into Monday. That could be advisory levels. It could be 8 feet and over for South Shore. So we've got 2 swells moving in.
Pretty sure the bullet shells are not going to lead to the next crime scene, so I'm going to do that right now.
Affecting South and West Shores. Had a pretty big earthquake today, or at least equivalent earthquake, 5.3. That was because of that big volcanic explosion just before 11 a.m. So this is the biggest one we've seen in a few days, and certainly that you can feel that one. So pretty
there we go.
just before we're watching our winds, and they
purple liquid. Excellent, Matthew. Let's get the sample you took from the bullet shells to the lab.
Sulfur dioxide kind of spread out, so we'll keep an eye on that. We're watching our Hilo Bay cam today.
3 hours? I gotta get some stars. Sit tight, folks.
We got a little bit better air quality.
And we're back. I got all the stars. I have 14 total because I used one earlier, as you saw. Let's get the medical bracelet right now.
Andrea's personal friend.
I'm simply trying to make a point to Rossoni, Mrs. Fletcher, about my clock. It is a tradition from Caruso to Pirelli, and it's vitally important Saturday night.
D. Archie. Okay. D. Araki, rather.
We are expected to spend our good money, which we don't have, to hire
The victim's ID bracelet says his emergency contact's name is a certain Dara Shea. Dara Shea. Dara Shea must be a relative or friend. We'll have to find her and deliver the terrible news. Miss Shea, we found an elderly man murdered in Landmark Park today. You were listed as an emergency contact. Daddy? Daddy was murdered? How can that be? He never did anything to hurt anyone. He was kind to everyone he met, and most of all to me. I'm very sorry for your loss, Miss Shea. Did Mr. Shea live with you? No, he lived in a rest home called Shady Hollow. I visited him there every day, and though some of the people there were a little out of touch with reality, everyone seemed very nice.
Jessica.
I can't believe this. Who would murder a helpless old man? Poor girl. This is a tough way to lose your dad. You're right. We should investigate the rest home Dara's father was staying at. She said it was called Shady Hollow. Let's go check it out.
But whoever did it didn't realize the pen would make a deep impression on the carpet because the body had been lying on top of it for hours.
But what about the two shots I heard?
Black spot, fired by the killer seconds before you walked into the dressing room.
And you're saying I'm tripping. As a girl, with our apologies. The lab is verified over new items of evidence decided no pressure. Very soon, I'll quickly show his voice and start this phone call. Voice prints, not cash. We are dealing with a very clever man who's still out there. Inspector, are you men still guarding Andrea? Gianelli? Sì, rimettiamo la signora Uomo sotto sorveglianza, sì. Subito, immediatamente, vada 2 volte. Clear to me. What? Phone number. Please.
So, just in the photo. There we go.
Are you okay? Please, don't go anywhere. Just keep the doors locked and don't open them for anyone till I get there.
All right. And darling, please hurry. Bye-bye.
Okay, I got it. So, Matthew, this is where Mr. Shea lives. I'll admit, the name Shady Hollow sounded ominous for a rest home, but this looks rather cozy. And you found some things to help our investigation. This photo of our victim could prove useful. The woman in the photo seems close to him. Let's figure out who she is. And since the victim lived here, we might find something of his in this trunk. Let's get to work, Matthew.
You'll get free equipment to use, including the base station,
Okay.
the patented mobile device, and the waterproof pendant and wristband. For an additional fee, you can also add the ball bar that automatically detects falls and signals.
Take the unknown woman first.
Press the button. Call right now to receive 1 month free with select plan purchases. By the way, you include free shipping when you order today. And for a limited time, you'll also receive a free emergency key box with your plan purchase. Call Mobile Help today.
Call Mobile Help, 1-800-919-0759. Special TV offer, 1-800-919-0759.
Oh, darn.
Call Mobile Help today at 1-800-919-0759.
Oh my god, and I still got tonight. Edith Bradley.
Disorder can make you feel unstoppable.
So the woman in the photo is Shady Hollow's head nurse, Edith Bradley. Well, Matthew, let's see what Miss Bradley can tell us about our victim.
can lead you on. Help take control by asking about clinical studies showed that Vraylar reduced overall manic symptoms. Vraylar should not be used in elderly patients with dementia due to increased risk of dementia. Call your doctor about fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may be...
Miss Bradley, if we could have a minute of your time, we found a resident of Shady Hollow, Mr. Sam Shea, shot dead in Landmark Park. Sam was murdered? That's a shame. He was one of our most active and alert residents. I don't mean to be rude, but you don't exactly sound bereaved. Well, I say if one has to go, better quick than slow. It may disturb you, but it's true. Life itself is slow death. I see it with my own eyes every day. It can't be ignored in a place like this. But isn't it your job to make these elderly people's lives better? Not at all. My job is to help dull their suffering until life finally releases its stranglehold. I can't say I've ever heard someone in your position put it in quite those words. Here at Shady Hollow, we take pride in having an open and honest approach to elderly care. Have a nice day, Senior Trooper Matthew.
I hope it doesn't follow us. I really think the worst is over anyway.
With Senora Fletcher's help, we've seen through the stalker's plot. It's a question of time for this individual to make the final mistake.
I can hardly wait.
There's one.
No. Yes. Hold on, please.
Jonas, come for you.
Let's see. Oh, okay.
Mr. Sumner's office.
Pronto? That's it. Buongiorno, Carlo.
Sudoku.
Talking under the circumstances, I'm sure you're trying to hold her to the doctor.
Bam.
Well, that's your attitude that we have to talk about leaving, and that's fine.
Matthew, is that a plate of cookies you found in that trunk? A card on the plate says, "To Sam, from Margaret Littlewood." Sam, could those cookies have been for our victim? Oh, the name Margaret Littlewood is familiar to you, Matthew? Ah, I see. She was involved in some of your investigations back in the day. She's out of prison? Huh. It says here that Mrs. Littlewood was in jail, but got released recently on account of dementia, and is now at Shady Hollow to receive proper care. If the poor woman has got dementia, I'm not sure how much help she's going to be, but let's have a chat with her, shall we?
But that's where your theory falls apart. You see, the person you suggest could not possibly be responsible because...
Last time we saw her was case 30, back when we were here before, and that was when she was thrown in jail, and Jones wound up with Astrid.
It's driving me crazy. They wanted a pizza with anchovy. There's a new restaurant in town with a number similar to mine. They'll have to change it.
Mrs. Littlewood? We're with the Grimsboro PD. We're investigating the murder of Sam Shea, and we understand that you knew him. You killed Sam? But he was such a good dog. No. The Sam we're interested in was a human being, not a dog. And we're not killers, we're the police. Of course Sam's a dog. I've had him since I was a little girl. Do you know they won't let me have pets here? Imagine, me, a prize-winning dog owner, not allowed pets. I remember the ribbon I won. Beautiful blue ribbon. Hung it on the wall above my bed until they took it from me. Now I don't know where it is. Are you sure the cookies weren't for Sam Shea? He lived here at Shady Hollow with you. Right, Sam. He doesn't like dogs. Tried to tell me cats were better. Nonsense. Senior Trooper Matthew, I'm afraid you won't get very far with this interview. My dog never chewed anything anyway. So well behaved. Won me a blue ribbon on more than one occasion, too.
So lucky.
I just happened to stop by when Andrea was having an anxiety attack, so I called the paramedics.
And I'll see you guys when these two are done. And we're back. Let's get the results of the victim's body first.
In one medicine, help treat both blood sugar and cardiovascular.
Bonjour, Matthew. I understand this old man was senselessly shot 7 times in the chest while relaxing in the park. How terribly sad. It reminds me of my great-grandfather, Arnaud Francois Gaspard Meunier, who was shot by a waiter in a cafe for putting salted butter on a croissant. Well, our victim definitely wasn't killed over food. He was missing most of his teeth. Actually, he did have teeth. I found denture fixative on his gums, which means his denture is somewhere. Keep an eye out for it, Matthew. It may be important. We will. Were the bullets still in the victim's body? Yes, I had Rita take a look at them. She said they came from a small 9mm pistol. And something odd. On his face and hair, I found traces of whiskey, honey, and cinnamon, which are the ingredients for a hot toddy. My assumption is that your killer threw their drink in the victim's face before shooting. It's normally a drink people have before bed, but your killer definitely had a hot toddy at the time of the murder. Well, our killer has had their nightcap. It's time for them to turn in.
Every day, you're thankful for the ones you love, and every day, you promise to protect them. Office here to help with proven protection against mosquitoes. Trust our family to protect yours. SC Johnson, a family company. When you see me here, you act fast. So did we. Raid kills roaches 7 times faster than the next leading out in roach spray. 7 times faster.
Okay. Matthew, it's possible your killer isn't accustomed to murder. What do you mean, Rupert? Well, I know the sample you gave me came from the killer's bullet shells. That means the substance was put there during the killer's preparation when they loaded the gun. And the substance itself is a liquid medication called Larzanafex, which is used to treat severe anxiety disorders. Most murderers are anxious about something, to be sure, but your killer takes a prescription medication for their anxiety. Well, now that Matthew and I are on their trail, our killer's got even more to be anxious about.
To the west of the islands, this system that we see spinning here, that's been there for the past several days, and that's starting to move out. We'll see trades moving through at around 15 to 20 miles.
Well, Matthew, by every account, our victim was a kind, quiet old man. How did he end up shot 7 times in the chest? We know, for example, that our victim's daughter visited him here every day. I can't imagine such a close relationship erupting into violence. The head nurse's casual attitude towards death troubles me, but the way she put it, Mr. Che was in good shape and didn't need release from life's stranglehold. And even if Mrs. Littlewood had told us something about the victim, she's an extremely unreliable witness. Mrs. Littlewood, you've seen Margaret? Where is she? Well, we talked to her a little while ago, but we haven't seen her since. Why? I have to find Margaret, Senior Trooper Matthew. She's gone.
You could see up to 8 footers, maybe even above that, as the swell starts to reinforce itself. So, if you're going to be at the beach this weekend, especially...
See you guys for Chapter 2. Okay, we have returned. Let's start Chapter 2 of No Mercy for Old Men. We just found out that Margaret has gone missing. Margaret Littlewood, yeah.
Vraylar should not be used in elderly patients with dementia to boost risk of stroke. Call your doctor about fever, stiff muscles, or palsy, which may mean a life-threatening reaction.
You've lost one of the people you're supposed to look after? I can see you take this very seriously. I haven't lost her. I'm pretty sure I know where she went. She sometimes wanders to the tailor shop by Landmark Park. She thinks she can buy blue ribbons there. Usually it was Sam who helped me fetch her, because that's where he used to buy all his suits. Obviously he can't, and I had to look after the other residents. Alright, say no more. We'll go fetch Margaret for you. Let's go, Senior Trooper Matthews. Why is there no employee in sight? My dog was more attentive. Whisper his name and he'd come running from a mile away. Such a good... Here you are, Mrs. Littlewood. Nurse Bradley was worried about you. You're not supposed to leave the home alone. Pish posh. I'm just here to buy some of these ribbons, if anyone would actually help me. Mrs. Littlewood, I'm afraid those are neckties, not ribbons. This is a men's tailor shop. Senior Trooper Matthew, I'll take Mrs. Littlewood back to Shady Hollow. While I'm gone, you should have a look around the shop. I agree. After all, we know our victim often came here. There might be a new lead.
So we'd have to look a little harder, big deal. The only you check my math scores for the past 3 years. A's and A minus, the same as all my courses at Senate.
Mr. McCoy, Matt didn't kill anybody. He was at home with me.
If you were my son, Mr. Hastings, I'd probably say the same thing. Now, if he tells me others were involved, I might convince a judge to go easy on him.
Did I ask for Amanda?
You should. You found his fingerprints on one of the notes. Just trying to scare him off. We matched his blood to the blood on the scene. His principal thought us he has a kid in school. He knows I'm borrowing from Miss Moore.
She told me you didn't. If you're going to kill people, you shouldn't advertise the fact in your yearbook.
Touchdown Frank. That's all it was. Not half as egregious as violating the Fourth Amendment. Which from here, I stuck a jar of his fluids under a microscope. Motion to suppress the drug test results. In Vernonia,
I think I've got it here.
Allow drug testing to combat illegal drug use in public schools. It used as a subterfuge to identify murder suspects.
The properly conducted search for illegal drugs.
Got it.
Was in plain view, Your Honor.
Under a microscope.
The defendant tested routine test to find the source of the alcohol. That's how they found he had a high sugar level.
Sounds like plain view to me, Miss Osdale.
Your Honor, the Vernonia Rumen sanctioned regimen testing. There was nothing random about this test. I refer to Exhibit C of the moving affidavits.
So now I get 7th place for now.
When the samples were collected, the officers singled out which individual they were interested in, namely my client.
Okay, Matthew, I'm back. Boy, once Mrs. Littlewood starts talking, she doesn't stop. So, did you find anything? Ah, I see you've got further proof our victim definitely came here. His name is on that clipboard. Let's recover the rest of the markings and see what we can find. And you're right, we better check the trash for any clues.
We were looking at the bottom of the bag after the drug test was all we had to go with.
Insurance? No. Build the house again. When you're looking at fence work, you can out. Not with the police family known issues of alien threats. Raises literature on the internet. What kind?
Who would guess?
Yeah, we'll be wearing this at the bench. She boy finished that 1 back place fast food.
Shocked by a face like this was recent sight. This kid had an alibi? Only his father. What's his father's name?
I was going home here with the Barbies that night. I came back just before I got there, but over 20 years and that was at the time.
And we're going to Holly had a slip over at a friend's house. But you sure Maddie's home?
Yes. My husband told me. He's not the one to send in the papers. Those people think we're all anti-Semites.
Those people?
Yeah, very well.
So the victim got his measurements taken by a certain Basil Cavendish. He obviously works here. Let's have a word with Mr. Cavendish and see if he's got any helpful information about our victim. Mr. Cavendish, Sam Shea was murdered earlier today. We understand he was a customer of yours. Good heavens, Sam was murdered? Why on earth would anyone do such a thing? That's what we're trying to figure out. Did you know Mr. Che well? Quite well. Sam was a client of my family's shop for decades. He saw me grow up, from fetching the scissors for my father to tailoring here myself. Oh, this is dreadful news. Excuse me, I'm going to make myself a hot toddy to soothe my collywobbles. Would you like one, Senior Trooper Matthew? No thank you, Mr. Cavendish. We're on duty. Maybe a small plopper of Larzanifex wouldn't hurt, either. I apologize, I'm just quite shaken by all this. The denture. Matthew, how did that denture end up in the trash? You're right. Martina told us the victim wore a denture, and he didn't have it when we found him. Let's get these teeth to the lab and see what Amir can find.
You gave him the key, Eddie. That's how he got out after he killed Mrs. Aronson.
It's not true. I don't have a key.
Our witness says you do. That makes you an accomplice to murder. Whatever plans you have for the next 20 years, you better.
And I'll see you guys when this is done in 12 hours.
These things, your future gets a little bright.
See y'all then.
I'm down with it.
Shall we be back?
And welcome back, folks. We are now back, and let's get the results of the denture. Matthew, I'm afraid I've bitten off more than I can chew with this clue.
It wasn't rape.
What do you mean, Amir? It seems pretty simple to me. Either it's the victim's denture or it's not.
He was only 22.
Okay, I'll admit I was just trying to make a joke. The denture is indeed your victim's. The DNA of the saliva proves it. But that wasn't the only DNA I found on it. Apparently these teeth had also been in someone else's mouth. I did some comparisons with Shady Hollow's medical records, and the DNA on the denture matches another resident named Jack Kennedy. Come again? So this Mr. Kennedy used the victim's denture? See what I mean? Strange, and more than a little gross. Well, let's go see if Mr. Kennedy can explain what he was doing sharing teeth with the victim.
There should be a special memo on how this pus-sucking gangrenous malignancy of a mental amoeba. Somebody stay at parking space again?
Mr. Kennedy, we're investigating the murder of Sam Che. Did you know him well? Yes, poor Sam. Murder was no way for him to go. You two seem to have been exceptionally close. We found your saliva on his denture. Ha! Yeah, that was a little joke I played on him. He left it in the living room once, and I put it in over my teeth. You should have seen his face when he saw his teeth sticking out of my mouth. Ah, Sam was my best friend. He was the only other person at the home with any sense. Some of these other bags of bones can't even count to 10 without someone writing it down for them. Now with Sam gone, I'm gonna have to be mindful not to let myself slip. But I've got a trick for longevity: a hot toddy every night before bed. Gotta keep your wits about you in this crazy town. Earthquakes happening and ancient cities popping up. Thank you for your time, Mr. Kennedy. Senior Trooper Matthew, while we're here, we should take another look around.
Wild said he came over to look for celebrity, so why is he looking in the opposite direction? 5 minutes. And why this?
They look right at each other.
And Wild watches Ramsey all the way out. Terry Wild is intimidated. What do you do aside from keeping the liquor from the cameras, thereby saving your 5-star ass?
He gave us no choice. He hasn't shown up for work since the event.
Okay, Dean. The only employee that can testify in court.
What you're inferring is preposterous.
Implying. You did infer what he implied. On the bright side, you did infer correctly.
You have Wild's current address, and that disappeared too. Sin is filed. What's your name?
He lives at 1634 Broadway. Not unless he's one of the nuts lobbying for yet another extension of cast. That's the Winter Garden Cave. Finance.
Why would he give a false sad twice?
My team. What else you got?
Painting.
Former employment.
Box.
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
I need to ask you about a former employee. Very wild.
Take it you had a problem with Terry?
No, never.
There we go.
Turn to the left.
I'm Terry Wild. What did I
Monday, the battle for the finals continues.
This is Ninja versus Ninja at its best.
And the intensity
Look at the fight, the world!
Nice. Another 100,000 coming my way.
Ninja Warrior, Ninja versus Ninja, all new Monday After Raw on USA.
Right, I brought in new Max Protein to give you the protein you need. Less of the sugar you don't.
Now we're getting somewhere. You found a painting of Mr. Che. Maybe cleaning up this powder will tell us who made the painting. Ah, good eye, Matthew. This box has the victim's initials on it. Let's see what's inside. And these flowers are long dead. Why hasn't someone thrown them away yet? The card on the flowers is addressed to Mr. Che. It says, Sam, I hope, but the rest is torn off.
Hey, I'm curious about your Social Security work.
Recovering the text on the card could tell us who sent him these flowers.
Oh, even though it's very good.
Sign up online for free. Discover Social Security alerts.
It's Macy's Memorial Day sale. With the last days of mattress supervised from COE, DC Bed, Beauty Rest, and more. Get queen mattresses starting at $299. Plus free delivery with a minimum purchase of $787.
Do everything right now.
Shop in store or at Macy's.com.
3, 3, 4, 3, 4.
What could go wrong?
4, 3, 3, 4, 7.
Discover Magnum Double Caramel. Expertly crafted
7, 4, 3, 4, 8. There we are.
Take pleasure seriously.
You will believe what's in this case.
I'll shoot you in the heart. Oh my gosh. Matthew, there's a death threat in the victim's box of candy. The message says, I'll shoot you in the heart. This must be from Sam's killer. Let's get this to the lab, quick. $12.
Something's not right. Here at Northern University, we've been known for disrupting higher education for nearly 150 years by putting students first and not the other way around. Let's be great together. Learn more now at narrative.edu/online. With a 70-year legacy in Hawaii, Uncle Aston Hospitality has a lot to advocate for.
Come on, come on.
We are committed to raising awareness about the benefits of choosing soy sunscreen. Join Our.Green.org. Switch to soy sunscreen that's free of ingredients like oxybenzone, which can contribute to coral bleaching. We're all in this
Down to
together.
5.
This message is brought to you by Uncle Aston.
Got it.
For more information, visit uncle-aston.com.
Matthew, with that powder cleared away, it's clear that whoever painted this had a grim view of our victim's future. It looks like his spirit is lifting from his body. Let's get the powder from it under the microscope to see if it'll tell us who painted this.
From retirement communities to adult daycare to home health services, we've been your best resource for senior needs.
Alright.
I'm so glad you made the call.
And now, for a moment of the week from USA's new series, The Promoters.
Are you ready? Yeah! Come on, today!
Retro Barbies. Stream the latest episode on demand.
So who is this desk clerk, Harry Wine?
Expect his residents to testify in court.
Here we are.
Yeah, did you becomes a witness unconnected from the evidence?
I don't know, astronomical, front desk, MP, no first entry.
Deadpan cleaning powder.
That's it. Stay with it. A minute.
So, Mountie, the painting of our victim was covered with a type of cleaning powder specifically used on bedpans.
This is Mr.
Well, that's lovely. Ah, you're right, Mountie. The residents of Shady Hollow don't clean their bedpans themselves. Nurse Bradley probably does. And considering how glum that painting is, there's no question she's the artist. Let's talk to her, Mountie.
Oh, wow, that's bigger than.
Fiscal sense in these litigious times, which Mr. Thorpe would settle out of court and out of the papers. I just crunched the numbers. Input price tags on people's lives. I simply follow the actuarial charts. They cover every conceivable contingency. I hear what's the dead cop worth. I'm the bracket age of death.
Miss Bradley, would you mind explaining this unsettling painting of Mr. Che? Oh, that's one of my favorites. Isn't it beautiful? When the residents are having quiet time, I like to paint their portraits. It's such a peaceful activity. For a bit of an artistic inspiration, I sometimes pour myself a hot toddy. Don't tell anyone. Miss Bradley, it's one thing to paint for pleasure, but why on earth did you paint this man's spirit leaving his body? I could see Sam's sadness at being here. He went on frequent walks to escape, and I don't blame him. He may have been healthy for his age, but he knew as well as anybody that his time was coming. We all run out of time eventually. I had offered him some Larzanafex to help him relax into this transition, but he refused. That's too bad. It's always worked for me. For your sake, Miss Bradley, I hope you didn't decide to take this relaxation into your own hands.
Take pleasure seriously.
How does new Dunlake Plus Care skin defense go beyond sweat reduction?
Okay, damaged card.
Yeah, that's the...
Going over the part of the videotapes, rated even
1, 3, 4. I hope you rot, Dara.
Get me out of here. Kyle Kimmelman.
Those dead flowers were sent by Mr. Che's daughter. And the card's full text says, Sam, I hope you rot. I agree, Matthew. I didn't expect the victim's daughter to wish him ill, but it appears there was bad blood between them. We've got to ask Miss Che about this.
It was a bit of a surprise. Hey, I'm jumping, man. Judge me, alright? That's it. Siobhan propositioned me, I accepted. Now I get to crap it out of me every day.
Miss Che, we thought your relationship with your father was loving. What happened to prompt this gift? Well, I'd like to see how you'd react when learning your father cut you out of his will. I visited him at Shady Hollow every day since he moved in. I did everything to ensure he was cared for. And what do I get in return? Nothing. That must have been disappointing. Who did your father leave the money to? He wouldn't say. I thought he trusted me. I feel totally betrayed. Ever since he told me I wasn't in his will, I needed a hot toddy or two to get to sleep. I also increased my Larzanafex dosage because I get panic attacks, and all this stress has made them worse. Now I can't live with myself knowing the last thing I did before he died was send him a bunch of dead flowers. But I was so angry.
Have you noticed how the bad guys are multiplying exponentially in this case? I just want to make sure we get it right.
I'll see you guys when the killer's thread is done. Excuse me. Welcome back, folks. Let's get the results of the killer's thread. Gabriel, what can you tell us about the threat Matthew found in Mr. Che's box? Well, it had me stumped at first. There was little to learn from the message itself, besides the reference to the way your victim died. but the strokes of the letters are thin in the middle and thick around the edges. It didn't match any writing implement I was aware of. There were also spots at the end of some of the strokes that had a mark, made by something like a spongy applicator. Then I remembered bingo daubers. They're used to mark numbers in the game of bingo. There can be no doubt about it, Matthew. Your killer wrote this threat with a bingo dauber, which means that our killer is a bingo player. Matthew, when we catch up to them, they won't have a free space to hide in. Well, that's a new clue. The plot thickens in the search for Mr. Che's killer, Matthew. Apparently, the tie between father and daughter wasn't as strong as we thought, since he took her out of his will and she told him to rot. On the other hand, Nurse Bradley claims Mr. Che was depressed and said it's her job to relieve any discontent among her residents. But would she have gone as far as 7 bullets to the chest to relieve Mr. Che of his depression? For now, none of it adds up. We're going to have to keep digging it. Oh, let me get the phone, Matthew. Greensboro PD, homicide. Senior Trooper Matthew, it's Basil Cavendish. Please come quick. Someone is trying to kill me. Ooh. We'll find out why in Chapter 3. See y'all then. Oh, excuse me. Let's start Chapter 3 of No Mercy for Old Men.
Taking a trip after what she's been through, candidates to get away.
Someone is trying to kill me. Kill you? Mr. Cavendish, hide yourself or stall them any way you can. We'll be right over. Oh, thank God you're here, Senior Trooper Matthew. This old happer has lost his mind. The jig is up, Chappie. I know you helped Sam cheat at bingo. You put extra pockets in his clothes on like fraudulent bingo cards. And if you don't fess up right now, I'll give you extra pockets. Mr. Kennedy, what are you thinking? Drop those scissors right now. I'm sorry, Senior Trooper Matthew. My temper got away from me. I'd say it has. Now sit down. Senior Trooper Matthew has some questions for you.
You're about to be hating life. It's a long way from Boston's gallery.
Alright. Let's see what Jack Kennedy has to say about his grudge. Pretty sure he might be the killer, but we'll see. Okay, Mr. Kennedy, now that you're calm, what is the issue? I know Sam was cheating in our bingo games together. His daughter always came in to play with us, and I know she was in on it too. They took every prize. Nurse Bradley didn't catch him because she was too busy repeating the numbers louder and louder for the other players. If someone's going to cheat, they shouldn't be able to play the game. Mr. Kennedy, if you threaten people with scissors when you suspect them of helping someone cheat, I hate to see how you deal with the cheater themselves. Stop harassing Mr. Cavendish and go home. Well, now that that's taken care of, how about we take another look around here, Matthew?
You got a better idea?
Yeah, run subpoenas to medicate fraudulent. We've been investigating his billing practices.
Well, you pull that off, Casey, I'll give you that.
And I blind him.
No cheap date. I got to book in the weeks.
Plenty.
Oop. Clue, diary. And rubber stamp. Got the first star.
You can start coming with us. Well, this is about the alternative. What?
Matthew, it's high time we get a good lead. If you think this diary might help, I say we unlock it. And who knows what this torn cloth might tell us. Let's restore it. Matthew, we're not giving up. Let's find Mr. Chase, killer. Here we go. This is a set of fabric swatches. I guess it's not too surprising given where we found them. It looks like something was written on it. You're right. Let's recover the text. Basil, just do as I tell you. Matthew, our victim wrote a message on these fabric samples. It says, Basil, just do what I tell you. Clearly, the victim wasn't happy with Mr. Cavendish's work. Let's ask him about this. Thank you, Senior Trooper Matthew. You saved my life from that daffy old coot. I have no idea what he was on about. I would never put extra pockets in a garment. It overwhelms the layering. We'll take your word for it. But this note from Mr. Che implies that you and he had a disagreement. Care to explain? I believe the explanation is quite obvious. It was Sam who made this fabric selection. Clearly he was the bollywogger, not I. Who in their right mind would mix those colors, those textures? If I followed his instruction, he would have looked like a bloody sofa. I'm a tailor, not an upholsterer. So I refused to make him the suit, and Sam was hopping mad at me. He tore my lucky pocket square. I've won every tailor's ball bingo tournament I've ever entered with that pocket square. That's a lot of feelings, Mr. Cavendish. If all this moved you to murder Sam, I'd say your luck's run out. Okay. Five, 4, 5, 4. Nine. 94542. Got it. Excellent, Matthew. You unlocked the diary, and it looks like our victim's name is mentioned. Unfortunately, the rest of the text is pretty illegible. Hopefully Gabriel can make sense of it. Alright, I'll see you guys when this is finished. See y'all. Oh, and we're back, and let's get the results of the diary. Gabriel, did you find out whose diary this is? They mentioned our victim. Yes, this diary belongs to Margaret Littlewood, but all the entries are from 68 years ago. That said, she does mention your victim a lot. It seems they dated for a wild summer in their youth, and Margaret was enamored with them. And later, an entry says, "There I was in my pretty dress, waiting like a dummy outside the fireman's ball, and the dope never showed. Handsome Chase stood me up." So Mr. Chase burned Margaret long ago. I wonder if they rekindled their romance at the rest home. I agree, Matthew. We should talk to Mrs. Littlewood about this.
Visible results in 1 day. See the 1 day difference. Carousel.
Stand up if you are a first-generation college student. Stand up if you're a mother. If you are actively deployed, a veteran, or you're a military family, please stand up. I will tell you this, Southern New Hampshire University can change the whole trajectory of your life.
Let's see what the demented old Margaret Littlewood has to say. Mrs. Littlewood, we found your diary and came to return it to you. Oh, thank you so much. You deserve a reward. Here you go. Thank you, Mrs. Littlewood, but you can keep the nickel. Now, we understand you were romantic with Sam Che in your youth. Had you rekindled any of that romance while you both lived here? Of course not. That lousy oaf stood me up at the fireman's ball last week. I'm never speaking to him again. Wait, did you say the fireman's ball was last week? But that's not possible. I may only be 19, but I know better than to let a fella treat me like garbage. It's a shame, too. His parents are the first in the neighborhood to have a television, and I did look forward to seeing what those are like. Mrs. Littlewood, I'm afraid you're mistaking the long-ago past for the present. I'm sorry to interrupt, Senior Trooper Matthew, but Margaret needs to take her Larzanafex. That's all right, Miss Bradley. I think we have just what we need. Well, that's one mark against her, but she is not the killer. Matthew, is it just me, or are all our suspects incredibly petty? Mr. Kennedy was on a rampage about the victim cheating at bingo. The tailor disagreed with Mr. Che's fashion sense, and just talking about it sent him into a rage. And Mrs. Littlewood is a special case. The victim stood her up 68 years ago, but because she thinks it happened only last week, her anger at him is still very fresh. Well, for now, it's got me stumped. I agree, the final pieces to this puzzle may lie at the crime scene. Let's go. Okay.
Save up to $1,100. 6-week money back guarantee. Plus, stop by today to request it's not too late to get bid for summer at Bowflex.com. Display, cut the cord.
Got it. First clue. And I see the funnel. Matthew, you found a box of 9mm bullets. Didn't Martine say that 9mm was the caliber the killer used? And the shells we found were 9mm too. Perhaps taking a sample of the stain on the box will give us a much-needed clue to solving this case. And you're right, Matthew. This wheelbarrow is an ideal place to hide incriminating evidence. Let's dig through it. I can feel we're close on the killer's tail, Matthew. Let's hurry.
Alan's from Pennsylvania. Says she's been living in a juvenile group facility there. Did she get a copy of her birth certificate or security? Not one of us need to take those. We called ACS, requested them. Chris was still waiting.
That might be the murder weapon. Matthew, you found a gun under the debris in that wheelbarrow. Chances are, this is our killer's gun. Let's get it to the lab for inspection.
Here's your shoes in the way. They're emailing me her school ID right now.
That's Cassandra Sullivan.
Well, Allentown Warner High, Nora is living in Loretta Sheriff. I guess she didn't like that name.
Well, she likes it.
15 hours.
Sophomore there too. This was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I wonder how many times she repeated the 10th grade.
You know, Cassandra Sullivan, I'm 16.
We know that's not true.
The thing about high school photos, you gotta really tell you about it.
Of course it is, Loretta.
Well, whatever you do, you're playing. Why have you been there? Because I hate it.
2.
I'm sorry.
Great. Let's send the sample you took from the box of bullets to the lab right away.
You definitely shouldn't be going to high school, guys.
9 hours, and I'll see you guys. These two are finished. Smell them. Okay, folks, we have returned, and let's get the results of the gun. Good news, Matthew. Ballistics have confirmed this gun is your murder weapon. Fantastic. What else did you find? Well, I had no luck getting fingerprints, but there was some residue on the gun's grip and trigger, a cream containing peptides and caffeine. This is a popular combination for eye creams, as peptides increase collagen production and caffeine reduces puffiness. The thing is, this particular cream contains other ingredients that completely counteract the intended benefits. It's totally useless. So knowing what the cream is for, and also that it doesn't work, I can tell you that your killer has bags under their eyes. Well, Matthew, I think it's only a matter of time before we bag our killer. That's a new one. I'm going to have to really look hard at this. Remember when I told you your killer might have been nervous, Matthew? Well, that substance from the box of bullets confirms it. Your killer had sweaty hands. Sweat? That's good. Were you able to get DNA from it? Of course. I couldn't get a full profile from the sample, but it seems your killer's genes produce brown eumelanin. This tells me that your killer has brown hair. Keep your eyes peeled, Matthew. We're just a hair's breadth from catching our killer. Matthew, you've got enough evidence to arrest Mr. Chase Killer. Let's go get him. Definitely not Dara Che. And it's not Edith Bradley. It's definitely not Margaret Littlewood. Nope. It's the Taylor. Basil Cavendish. Mr. Cavendish, you're under arrest for the murder of Sam Che. You believe I murdered one of my best customers? Don't be preposterous. What's preposterous was throwing your hot toddy at Mr. Che's face before shooting him. It was like handing us evidence against you. I would never. Whiskey and honey destroy fabric. Not to mention throwing that in someone's face is a waste of a perfectly good drink. You're right. I'm surprised you didn't keep the drink to calm your nerves. We know you were nervous. We found your Larzan effects on the bullet shells. You must believe I'm a messy person. What gives you that impression? My crisp, clean suit? I haven't got a hair out of place. We can tell you work hard on your appearance. The cream you're using to get rid of the bags under your eyes was smeared all over your pistol. Quit playing dumb, Mr. Cavendish. Your story is hanging by a thread. I had to kill Sam. He was going to ruin my business. You have to understand, my father passed on recently and I took over the family business. Immediately, profits plummeted. Decades of success gone in the stitch of a button. And not only did Sam refuse to pay his tab, he started bad-mouthing the shop to other customers. I couldn't let him do that. I had to do something. And once I squeezed the trigger, I just couldn't stop. I came apart at the seams. All my work down the drain because of some balmy old man. Well, he can't do that to me. The bloody... Are you alright, Mr. Cavendish? You look ill. Of course I'm ill. I feel right warblish at the moment. Settle down or you'll hyperventilate. Senior Trooper Matthew, be careful putting the cuffs on him. He looks like he might pass out. Mr. Cavendish, you're under arrest. Mr. Cavendish, you're charged with shooting Mr. Sam Che 7 times in the chest. How do you plead? I am guilty, but it was to save my business. Cavendish & Son was going to go bankrupt. If you wanted to help your business, Mr. Cavendish, you should have avoided shooting bullets into your customers. Given the charge and the evidence provided, this court sentences you to 20 years in prison. 20 years? I'll be right for Shady Hollow, rest home myself. By then. Matthew, when we found Mr. Che with 7 bullets in his chest, I couldn't fathom who'd kill a quiet old man. But I guess I underestimated the lengths some people will go to keep their business thriving. I suppose they say desperate times call for desperate measures, but murder is certainly never a viable option. But that's why we're here, Matthew, to serve and protect. We've done good work today, Matthew. How about a nice cup of coffee to unwind? And let's take a look at the other ones. Jack Kennedy, he was cleared early. Dara Che, no bags. Edith Bradley, blonde hair. Margaret Littlewood, cleared from the start. There was Basil Cavendish. And I'll see you guys for the moment of truth, 2-6. Alright folks, we've returned. Let's start the moment of truth, 2-6. People do some pretty atrocious things under financial duress, but shooting an old man sitting in the park, that's a step beyond. I forgot the first one, that's okay though. Hello Matthew, do you have a second? Jasper, it's been a while. You should come see us more often. After all, you're Amir's boyfriend, which makes you nearly a part of the team. Aw, thank you. Say, I have a special request. I dearly need some help with. I'll be waiting in the break room. Please come see me whenever you have the time. A special request? I wonder what that's about. I wish that was the only thing on our to-do list, but we should probably spend some time looking deeper into that cult. The Higher Truth claims the Dream Life satellite that crashed into the forest is the messenger of the Higher Truth. But is that really all? Yeah, cults make me uneasy. But about that, your victim's daughter is here, Matthew. She says it's got to do with the Higher Truth. This could be a lead. Well, Matthew, take your pick. Would you like to talk to Miss Che or Jasper first? Cult requires bigger attention. Thanks for talking to me, Senior Trooper Matthew. I didn't know where else to go. I'm sure you remember my anger when I found out my father had disinherited me. Well, I went to the reading of his will and found out he signed all of his money over to some cult called the Higher Truth. I'd never even heard of them before. Oh, but we have. They're a bunch of weirdos who worship that satellite that fell into the forest. That makes no sense. Why would my father join such a cult? No, Senior Trooper Matthew, I'm telling you, my father would have never done this. They must have forced his hand. Well, if you know nothing about this, it does seem pretty weird. Miss Che, we're on it. Senior Trooper Matthew, let's go back to Shady Hollow and have a look through Mr. Che's things. I think I might see it. I think I might see a clue. Oh! Son of a gun, I missed it. I thought Well, that's a heck of a way to throw away a possible start. Oh well. Didn't work anyway, okay? Matthew, here's a box of Mr. Che's things. If he left all his money to the Higher Truth, chances are we'll find something about them in it. Oh, I just hit the 9 in time. Higher Truth DVD. Bingo, Matthew. Mr. Che had a promotional DVD for the Higher Truth. You're right. Maybe this DVD could explain how the Higher Truth convinced Mr. Che to donate to them. Let's send it to Kathy. Hours. Matthew, today marks my 3-year anniversary with Amir. Oh, that's adorable. What do you have planned? Well, Amir and I first met in Landmark Park when we went to see an outdoor play. I struck up a conversation during the intermission, and when he told me he worked for the police, I joked that he probably had a spy camera in his bow tie. Amir thought it was hilarious and loved the idea. So for our anniversary, I planned a picnic for us in Landmark Park this afternoon, and I want to make a spy bow tie for it. Will you help me? Of course we will, won't we, Matthew? I remember seeing some great bow ties at the Cavendish and Son tailor shop. Let's go. Okay, let's see here. Ha! Bow tie box. Matthew, the bow ties in this case are beautiful, but I don't see anyone here to help us open it. How about you try your lock-picking skills on that box, Matthew? Then we'll be able to pick a tie out for Jasper's gift to Amir. Missed the 9. But I got it. I got the task done. Fantastic! And I think considering Amir's taste, of all the bow ties in this box, he'll like this one the most. I still don't see anyone here to help us. I guess I'll just leave the money on the counter. Hopefully Kathy can take care of turning this tie into a spy gadget. I'm at 9 minutes right now, so I'm going to hold it here. Six hours. I'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Well, I said I'd be back in a few minutes, and I am. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, just because I want to. Well, Matthew, I watched the DVD you gave me about the Higher Truth. Turns out it's a recruitment video. You should probably watch it for yourself. A moment of truth. Stephen Crow. Hello, I am the Enlightened One. Join me and hundreds of other children basking in the light of new wisdom. You can't begin to imagine the possibilities in this life until you've learned the higher truth. I used to be frightened of a lot of things in my life. Going places and talking to people made me feel unsure of myself. I was lost. Then a friend told me about the messenger from above that has come to deliver a higher truth to humankind. This higher truth is the remedy to all fear, all uncertainty. I have given over all of my worldly possessions to commit myself to the cause. At first it was really hard to give up all my things, cut ties with my family, and stop talking to my friends. But what I've got coming to me is so much greater than all that. You've done well, Timothy. You're on your way to discovering the new wisdom. The more you give, the more you will learn of the higher truth. Did you see that, Matthew? Steven totally stopped that guy from admitting the cult had taken all his money and made him break ties with his family. They're clearly out to get all the money they can get from their followers, even if it means encouraging a father to disinherit his own daughter. Matthew, let's go to the Higher Truth headquarters and shake their feathers. Grayson Rosewater. Ah, Senior Trooper Matthew, was it? Have you decided to join our mission to discover the Higher Truth? No, actually, Senior Trooper Matthew and I are here to speak with Stephen Crow. You wish to see the Enlightened One? He is in a cleansing ritual at the moment. A cleansing ritual? Well, how much longer will he be? We've got some important questions for him. I'm afraid the cleansing rituals can sometimes occupy him for entire 24-hour cycles. Speaking of which, it's time for me to refresh his vinegar bath, but when I return, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Well, let's see what he has to say now. I apologize for the delay. Now, Seekers, how might I assist you? Well, to put it bluntly, we'd like to know how much money you're extorting from your followers and where it's going. Ah, well, you certainly do not mince words. Senior Trooper Matthew, we are simply motivated by a spreading of truth. Donations to the cause are welcome, but never forced. Expensive to spread the truth, is it? Expensive to spread the truth, is it? We happen to know that a Mr. Sam Chase signed his daughter's inheritance over to you in his will. His daughter said he never even mentioned you, so what kind of aggressive means are you using to get people's money, huh? The only aggressive aspect of our youth is the patience with which we await the truth, and with the arrival of that new wisdom, material possessions will lose all value. If it gives you peace of mind, you may return the money to the man's daughter. I must be going. Well, Dara will be relieved to have the money back, but now I get the feeling Steven's avoiding us to hide worse things than extortion. Matthew, did you find anything about my father and the cult? Your father does seem to have joined the cult, but we've managed to get his money back. Thank you so much, Senior Trooper Matthew. It doesn't bring my father back, but it gives me peace of mind. And the bow tie. What a cool idea for a gift, Matthew. Amir's going to flip over this. So what goes into making it a spy tie? I used one of those new Blueberry Tart mini computers, which is small enough to tuck into the top of your shirt. Then I installed the lens in the knot of the bow tie. To snap a photo, you use a little remote. We just have to test it now. Gloria, could you hold it up and take a photo? Say cheese. Awesome, Matthew, it works. Jasper's waiting for us to meet him in the park, so let's get going. The spy tie looks amazing, Matthew. Thank you so much. At least there will be one thing that's not a disaster. Why? Did something go wrong in your anniversary preparations? What didn't go wrong? I dropped the picnic basket on my way over, put the blanket over an anthill, and worst of all, the anniversary card I wrote to Amir with invisible ink is, well, invisible. Isn't that the point of invisible ink? You have to put lemon juice on it to read the words. That's how it should work, yes, but I did a test and the ink is not reappearing. Amir will be here any minute now, and I don't even have a card for him. What am I going to do? Jasper, breathe. It's going to be fine. Matthew and I will take care of it. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm a mess of nerves right now, but I want everything to be just right for Amir. The card is around here somewhere, and while you're at it, take anything you'd like to eat. You've been so helpful. Oops. Hold on. Okay. I see the card. Jasper's card. This must be Jasper's card. Let's see if we can use your dusting kit to make the invisible ink reappear. 458. And I put it in. Now let's go ahead and share another coins. Here we go. Matthew, you did it! The ink from Jasper's message is visible now. Aw, this is adorable. He calls Amir the spy who loves me. I don't want to be indiscreet, Matthew. We should probably go give that card back to... Oh, well, speak of the devil. Here's Amir. Let's go see him. Okay, let's give him the gift. Hey Matthew, what a pleasant surprise. Jasper, what is this all about? Happy anniversary, my love. I prepared a picnic right on the spot where we first met. Oh, I didn't expect this at all. What amazing luck that I happened to bake some peanut butter chocolate chip cookies for you. Oh, my favorite. Well, I think it's time to give you your present. Here's the card first. To the spy who loves me. Darling, this is so adorable. But wait, you got me a spy tie? Yes, Matthew and Kathy helped me put it together for you. Here. Oh my god, I love it. I can't believe you did this for me. I love you, Jasper. Oh yeah. Matthew, thank you for helping Jasper prepare all of this. My love, let's go celebrate. I do admit it's a little bit on the odd side, but then again, hey, beggars can't be choosers. Matthew, Kathy told me about the spy tie you helped make for Amir. What an awesome idea. Now that Zoe remembers who I am, I'm looking forward to celebrating our next anniversary together. Maybe we could do a picnic somewhere. Sunset overlooking the ancient city of Zerta, for example. But back to the task at hand. The cult is proving to be exactly as weaselly as I expected. They're encouraging their members to donate their entire life savings to the higher truth. And while that's technically not illegal, it's definitely a red flag. I'm telling you, Matthew, between Zerta and those higher truthers, I get the feeling the old town has more surprises in store for us. Take the sticker packs. I know a lot of people aren't really very happy about them being introduced. But I just think that if you include the food awards with the sticker packs, or along with the other rewards, then I think they probably wouldn't mind it as much. But that's my opinion. Let's see. June 7th. It's another Thursday. So, let's get all of these out of the way. All 5 new ones. Three new ones. All right. That's going to do. Hey, completed a chapter. Oh, it's unfaithful weather. Okay, that's gonna do. I'm gonna collect my rewards, collect my daily rewards rather. After this, and I'll see you guys for the next case on June 7th. See y'all then.